everybody, and welcome to Mondays with Marlo. Did you see the Time cover in the recent weeks called "Is Monogamy Over?" Whoa, I mean, what a question. And it's interesting, this is a hot topic again. But for all of us, it's always been a hot topic and an interesting topic. I mean, does monogamy work? And if it doesn't, why doesn't it? And why is it so hard for some people to pair up for life and others just can't hang on to one partner? So we invited a wonderful psychotherapist and a couples counselor, Lisa Brateman, to be with us today to answer your questions and to help us understand what is wrong with us as couples. And we were talking, Lisa and I were talking, welcome Lisa.
Thank you.
We were talking about the fact that there are just a few birds that are good long partners. And I remember reading one time that the female wolf, when her mate dies, that's it. She never goes to another male again. So there are a few of us who are like wolves. The others I'm not sure about. But anyway, there's a lot of questions, and I think you have so much information that we'll probably get out a lot of what you want to share with us. And if we miss anything, you'll just say, how about this? And so we don't miss any of your wisdom and experience. So here's, first of all, is Stephen. He says, I've been burned a few times by disloyalty. How do you set up with who you are dating? What the rules are, I guess is what he means. So, I mean, when can you bring that up? You can't say, hello, I'm Stephen, I'd like to be monogamous. So when do you get into that?
You get into it when you know, you have a good sense of this is somebody you'd like to see or you'd like to get to know. I think many women kind of push the monogamy too soon, and then a guy may or may not agree, but he's not agreeing so much because he's there. And I think agreeing too soon doesn't work either. It's got to be a mutual decision. You're spending so much time with each other, you don't really have interest in seeing someone else, so it kind of happens naturally, and then you talk about it.
Right. Once you're kind of exclusive, or say you're exclusive. Yeah.
But it has to be not because, it's 3 weeks and wow, you're the best.
Right. I know that's always a problem. Our next question is from Sheila. On the front page of Times, it asks, is monogamy dead? Are there any tips for staying monogamous? There's a good question.
It is the best question. Yes, tips of that is stay emotionally invested in your relationship. Mm-hmm. It's over time, it's difficult sometimes, or people say it's difficult to keep involved, to keep attached. There's your job and your career and your kids. Oh my God, I have to work at my marriage too. Well, I always take question about marriage is hard. I think marriage takes effort. So rather than looking at marriage as hard to stay connected, look at it as it's effort, but it's also effort that can be fun. And what makes marriage stay and what makes monogamy last is that you're really connected, and you don't need to find that connection because it's kind of when you come home every day.
I remember I had a very dear friend one time. I've been friends with him forever, and then he married, and we still remain friends. And I don't know, many years into his marriage, he told me about the fact that he was losing money in this job he was in, and he was very nervous about it. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, what does your wife think? He said, oh, I haven't told her. Mm-hmm. I said, well, this is kind of cheating. Yeah. You're sharing something with me that you should be sharing with your wife.
Absolutely.
This is a kind of a betrayal. So that you're taking something out of your marriage, which is that comfort, that information, that need to know.
Secrecy closes doors. And whether it's a coworker or just a friend, if you know more about what's going on in his life than his wife does.
I know, I would be very upset if my husband confided a business problem to some other man or woman and not to me.
Right.
So I think that's probably part of it too, is that you're monogamous for the whole package. Mm-hmm. You're telling each other what you feel about your money, because I know some women have no idea how much money their husbands have.
Never a good thing.
It can't be good, and who have separate accounts. I know I've heard for years, you should always have your own little secret stash. My mother used to say that every woman needs a secret stash, so if she's got to get out. My mother was married 55 years, so she wasn't going anywhere. But that was this idea. My generation's a little different, or a lot of women like me who also works. So my husband and I work equally. I wanted us to put our lives together and know that what we have is what we both have. What we have, not what you have and what I have.
You wanted a partnership,
Right.
a true partnership.
All right, this one's from Tiffany. In the long term of a relationship, how often should one revisit the subject of monogamy without looking paranoid? I gather what you're saying.
Tiffany, it's not that you have to bring up monogamy. It's really about bringing up your connection and are you strong. I think having a once a month conversation in this sense of how are we doing? How does it feel? Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we just didn't get to? Because I remember we were in the elevator last week and you said, oh, when we get a chance, let's talk about that. Well, let's do that now.
Right, that's great, yeah. Okay, this is from Travis. Do you think ghosting is just another symptom of how social media has made our lives so impersonal?
Travis, yes. Yes, and I'll say that I think ghosting has increased with social media, but ghosting has been around since the beginning of dating. People leave without mentioning, oh, I won't be back. But with social media, it's far more impersonal. You know, the person is still just a picture on a screen. Yeah, I said I was going to meet her and I never called, and oh well, there's 400 more people that I can meet in 20 minutes.
Right.
So yes, ghosting, whether it's long-term or short-term, I think it has absolutely increased, and it's a cowardly way to say no.
It used to be just called rude. Now it's called ghosting.
Yes, it used to be awesome. Somebody would say, I'm going to go out for a pack of cigarettes. I'll see you later.
Right, and they never come back.
And they didn't smoke, nor did they come back.
That was the first sign. They didn't smoke.
Yes.
But wasn't there just a famous ghosting thing? Didn't somebody What was that?
I think somebody broke up. Was it a Post-it? A Post-it breakup?
I don't know.
Oh no, there was a really big argument. I think what you're talking about is I don't know the details on it, but a man who left and they thought he died, and then he started a whole new life somewhere else, and then as these days with computers and technology,
they found him.
As they do.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's like the ghosting of the century.
This is from Phil, not Donahue, another Phil. Is it natural for people to be monogamous? That's a pretty interesting question, because we were talking before that there's like a couple of bird families that are monogamous. And then there's this vole, I'm sure you've heard of that. There's the mountain vole and the prairie vole. I don't know which it is, but one of them is monogamous and one of them is a real tomcat. But if you take the gene out of the tomcat, he, the male, will become as monogamous as the other mole. I mean, that's a vole, I mean, that's pretty amazing. So this is a gene, possibly. Do you think?
There's not the science in humans for me to be able to answer that. Unless there's an app for it, I'm not sure I know how to answer that.
Well, I mean, you think of it as
it's a mindset. I think if you want to be monogamous, if you put the importance in that in your relationship, you will be monogamous. It's easy to kind of look around and look for other things, but can we? Is it natural? I think it's very natural for some. I think not, obviously not for all.
This is from Jeff. Do you think all of these dating websites and apps like Tinder make it easier for people to be disloyal?
I think they make it easy to be superficial. Disloyal, because you're not disloyal when you first meet someone. You're dating, and to say, yes, I'm dating you tonight, but I just got out of a relationship 6 months ago and I want to date a few people because that relationship was of great length and I'm just trying to figure out who I am. If you say that doesn't make you disloyal.
Right.
It's down the line when you say, oh yeah, it's only about you.
What is Tinder? I don't know.
Tinder is an app. Originally, I believe it was set up to more of a hookup website where you have the picture of the person who's in your geographical location. And what I've heard is you can be in your apartment, and if you have a gym downstairs, it will show that there's somebody down there and you're both online at the same time if you want to meet up, whether it's for coffee, for a date. So it originally started...
Is it like Match.com? Is it the same thing?
It's becoming more so, I think, as time goes on. Originally, it was more like, hey, you're there, I'm there, you're cute, I'm cute, let's hook up. Where Match.com more so, I believe, is looking for relationships, but Tinder has started to become that, because actually some of my clients...
Maybe.
Well, it's more spontaneous, but it's also more superficial, because when somebody says that at 11 o'clock at night, that's probably more spontaneous than you might want.
Right. Yeah. 11 o'clock at night, I wonder about that.
Yeah, as you might, as you should.
This is from Blake. With the recent exposure of Ashley Madison, it seems that most of the men who are family men who are looking for some excitement, why do you think men turn to this form of excitement? So Ashley Madison is a place where married people go to meet other married people who want to cheat on their spouse. Is that what it is?
That's that, yes.
And who the hell is Ashley Madison?
That's the name of the website. I believe I'm not positive, I believe it's Canadian-based. But if you see Ashley Madison, I'm told, if you see Ashley Madison on your credit card, it sounds like a local restaurant, but at whatever it costs every month on your credit card, that might be difficult to explain unless you really like the food.
Right.
But,
so they go there, and is it like Match, where you put your picture up and say...
I've never actually went on the website, but I'm working with clients now who are dealing with the repercussions of being found out by their partners that they were on the website. And there's some, why do men do it? Well, they thought they wouldn't get caught. They were getting involved with another woman who's married. It's, in a way, like, this is just about that. This is not about starting a relationship. This is not about sex. This is, well, it is about sex. Sorry. It's not about anything more than this is just the only reason why we're getting together. And if a woman is married, then it's not like she wants to date me or leave me because you're both in the same situation.
Right.
But why do they need it?
She's not going to want more from me than I want to give, because she just wants what I want.
Right.
Which is a fun time.
Yeah, which is a really nice bow on the package, except it wasn't.
This is from Ralph. How do you tell your partner that you don't want to be monogamous?
Ralph, I suggest you do that really early on.
Yes.
Because it's reasonably fair. If this is what you want, that's perfectly fine. You just need to find the right partner who shares that view with you, so the transition will be, it will be successful. If one person wants it, you just need to say, that's not where I am now, and I want to be with you. If that's something you can, handle or deal with, or if you're okay with it, great. But if not, that other person needs to know that. That's the respectful way to go about it.
Definitely. But good for you. You want to tell them.
Yes, don't just do it.
Don't just do it. This is from Carol. Is there a certain generation that you are seeing that is not interested in having a monogamous relationship?
Yes. College-age students, not interested in monogamous relationships. And on the other side of it, women and men in their 70s.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I've seen in my practice.
They figure, before I go, I'm going to have one last thing here.
Do I really need to commit? I've committed to 4 children. I was married for 30 years. I'm done committing. So I'm hearing it on that side, which was interesting. That's kind of something that I've just recently noticed in the last year or two.
That's very interesting.
And I've never experienced it before. But college-age kids are not there. I
wasn't when I was in college.
And I think that's
the time to do it.
I think it's healthy.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't believe you should only date your high school boyfriend and go to college, or they stay home and not date anyone for those 4 years because you said in 7th grade that.
Yeah, right. No.
Find yourself. Find out who you are first. Yeah.
I think people get married too young even today. I don't think anybody should get married before 30.
Well, I don't think anybody should get married until they really know each other.
How often does the betrayed spouse get blamed by the betrayer? Because I always, so many times I've heard people say, well, she paid no attention to him, or he was never home. So that's why she cheated her. I mean, does that exist a lot when you get together with the couples? They blame it on the other spouse. If she had done this, if he had done that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I always bring to light after they finish their blame shame game, I did this, you did this. What I always ask them, what I do is I work with them the first time I see them together, and then after that I always see them individually because I want to know what they're like without their partner.
Right.
And this is just us now. And
right.
Tell me really what's behind it. And then I come back together. But what I realize is that it's so easy to blame because I don't own it. It's not my fault. I only cheated on you because you started wearing sweatpants.
Right.
Or because that's a really good reason.
Right.
And I always ask them, well, what might you have created to set this up? What are you doing or not doing in the relationship that you think needs to be examined and to take responsibility? Because if you take responsibility, the other person will too. But if you're constantly blaming them, then you're just you might as well have like a truck between them on that couch.
Right. Yeah.
But everybody has to examine what part they play in this.
Well, our time is up. Do you think that there's anything we didn't get to that you wish we had, or any other last-minute advice for all of us poor people who are struggling to be sure we don't screw up our lives?
I think the most important thing is, we all say stay true to yourselves, but it's really about not letting fear stop you from asking the questions that you need to know the answers to. A lot of people just will, I was afraid to ask that. And then that fear turned into something it didn't need to.
What's a question that people are afraid to ask? Are you cheating? I mean, not that.
Well,
it's a kind of a hard question to ask out of nowhere.
No, just even asking, we haven't spent a lot of time together, or our sex life has changed a lot. I'm curious, is there something going on that I don't know about?
Right.
Or, it seems that this has changed. Note what the changes are without the blame. Instead of saying we never have sex anymore, saying, I kind of miss that part of our life.
Yeah.
Like how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Right. Yes. Right. Well, you've been lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Hasn't she been good? All the questions answered. I feel so much smarter. And I hope monogamy is not over. And we'll see you all next time.